What's good, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. You already know it's your host, and we are back with a fresh episode to go through and recap the events of UFC 313, the highs, the lows. Did my predictions hit? Let's take a look. Let's get into it. Let's go. Alright, so like I said, welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It. And yeah, my predictions, how did they go? Some were good, some were bad. So, if you remember, you looked at my breakdown, I said that Alex Morono was going to beat Carlos Leal. I was wrong. Big time wrong. Super wrong. Extremely wrong. Carlos Leal beat the brakes off of Alex Morono. He beat his ass. 1 round, KO, TKO, finish. I was way off on that one. Moving on, you go to Bruno Ferreira and Armen Petrosyan. Crazy thing is, my prediction won. I had Bruno Ferreira getting a W, just not by submission. Just not by submission. A sneaky submission as well. I wanted to see him get the knockout. I needed that on one of the parlays. Unfortunately, didn't get it. He actually looked like he was gassing out on the feet a little bit, so I think he's kind of lucky that that fight went to the ground and he ended up getting that submission. But good win by him. So we won for 2 on a night. Then you move on to the next fight. Joshua Van ended up getting the win. Crazy thing about this Joshua Van fight versus Ray Suruya. I think I said that right. I don't know if I said that right, but maybe I did. That fight was the first ever UFC fight where both the fighters in there were born in the 2000s. Started watching this shit in like 2006. What the fuck? I don't feel that old. Alright, moving on to the main card. Obviously, you saw that Curtis Blades, the fight that Curtis Blades was supposed to have, got canceled due to some sickness. It looks like it's moving on to a different dates, getting postponed. But so we jump right in after Joshua Van. We jump right into the main card. Mauricio Ruffy versus Bobby Green. That was the sickest KO I think I've ever seen. That was a incredible. It was a switch spinning kick. I mean, unbelievable. Just clean as can be. Clean as can be. Perfectly sound. If you watch, there was a video of him backstage practicing the exact same kick. Remnants of old school Conor McGregor. A lot of people are comparing him to, but that was an amazing finish. We got to start looking in depth now on that boy Bobby Green, because Bobby Green has been in some wars. His chin seems like it is fading. Simple as that. I hate to be the guy to say it, right? I even said in the last podcast that I made that, like, age don't really matter. Bobby's been in there with a lot of good people. He's been up against every type of style of fighting, right? I thought that his veteran style might make him all right. But I did know Mauricio Ruffy was going to win this fight. I thought it was just going to be a decision. I thought he was going to just whoop him up on the feet for 3 rounds. Did not see this coming. But I think it is time to talk about Bobby Green, either to not fight these up-and-comers anymore and fight somebody else, just continue to fight older guys. Somebody mentioned that Bobby Green versus Michael Johnson would be a good fight. That would be a fantastic fight, right? Loser retires, because that's something that we all know we would probably need to see if one of them got knocked out by one of the other. So, but yeah, it's time to start talking about Bobby Green fading away from the sport a little bit, because that was a rough one. That knockout was tough. I mean, that man said, spin, just fucking up in this motherfucker. Like, damn. Look, anytime someone gets knocked out, I'm just like, oh, whoa, all you know, the normal fight fan reaction. This one had my jaw dropped, and I just didn't even know what to say. I was silent. Because it was just so clean, so perfect. Gave me Edson Barbosa versus Terry Adam vibes. That's what it gave me. That was beautiful. Beautiful knockout. Moving on. Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo. Amanda Lemos gets the win by decision. I thought Yasmin Lucindo was going to get the win by decision. Not after the performance. I thought pre-fight that she was going to end up getting the decision win, or maybe even a submission. I thought the ground game was she would have some success. She did not have much success. She had a couple times where she, had some reversals. She had some control for limited amount of time. Amanda Lemos really did well in this fight. From what I saw, I was in and out. I was, I'm not gonna lie, I might have been fading a little bit after like the first round. Going into the second start, my eyes might have been closing a bit. But that's just that, that's just that revamp. You need that revamp for the next fights that were coming after. But from what it looked like, it seemed like Amanda Lemos was controlling every aspect of the fight. When it was on the feet, she was out striking her, landing the heavier shots. When it was on the ground, anytime that she was in a position that seemed like it was a bad position, she got out of it pretty quick. She was reversing, she was scrambling well, and she seemed to have some good clinch work up against the cage for what I was seeing, right? I got to go back and watch the highlights on that one. But yeah, I didn't expect Amanda Lemos to win. Not because Amanda Lemos isn't good. I just feel like that next up and coming generation is starting to take over a little bit. There's a new wave of people coming into the UFC, and it just seems like they're really starting to take over. And I thought that Yasmin Lucindo might have been another one of those people. I thought she was going to end up being able to get some sort of submission finish or a decision win, but she did not. Amanda Lemos got the dub. What's next for her? I don't even know. That division's kind of dry, if I'm being honest with you. So I don't even know. Amanda Lemos versus Yan Xiaonan. It's not bad. You could do Lemos and Tatiana Suarez. They were supposed to fight. That got canceled, so you could do that. That's not a terrible option either. You got one coming off a loss that needs a win. You got one that's going to need another win to get themselves back into title contention. So, not a bad option. But good win by Amanda Lemos. This next one, this was a pretty quick fight. It was a quick fight, a quick night for Ignacio Bahamondes. Went out there, outstruck and outlanded Jalen Turner, and proceeded to get a finish. Nasty submission on the ground. And then Jalen Turner put the gloves down and retired, which sucks, man. That sucks. Dude's 29 years old, right? Which is crazy. That's just a year older than me. And I sit there and look at it, and it's like, you see these guys like Glover Teixeira fought until he was 42 and got the belt, right? Don't just decide to give it up because you're taking a couple losses. He's taking back-to-back losses. A couple of those losses were his mistakes, right? This one, I think Ignacio Bahamondes, regardless, there was no route that he wasn't not going to win this fight. He was going to win this fight. He's riding a lot of momentum. He's got great stand-up. If you pay attention, anytime that Jalen Turner was trying to go straight down the middle with that left, he was getting countered. He was getting countered over the top, whether Bahamondes was throwing over the top with the left or over the top of the right. He was landing over the top almost every single time Jalen Turner tried to land that straight left that he lands. Bahamondes was landing head kicks, landing leg kicks. He was throwing fast. And Jalen Turner was there. It's not like he wasn't in there. He just wasn't landing as much. And I think Jalen has potential to win any fight against anybody on the feet. And then when the fight went to the ground, right, it was a failed takedown attempt, I'm pretty sure, from Bahamondes. Yeah, it was like a failed takedown attempt from Bahamondes just because of how long and big that Jalen Turner is. It's hard and strange to get him down. And once he got him down, he kind of blanketed Bahamondes. And I'm like, all right, so maybe this is exactly where Jalen Turner needs to be. He needs to be able to blanket somebody, utilize his size in a different way, not just in terms of reach. So I thought he might have had some success. Laying some elbows, right? Having a reach like that, you just push off a little bit. You get the right position, you push off a little bit. You can throw that elbow. Guys like that, it's the same thing as John Jones. You look how long John Jones is. He really utilized those elbows on the ground every time he's there. So I thought Jalen Turner could have ended up doing some stuff like that. Ended up getting caught by Ignacio Bahamondes. Just is what it is. You know, I guess now that we see that Bahamondes is slick on the ground too, this makes it very interesting because he's in one of the toughest divisions in the sport. I talk about it all the time with the lightweight division. Knowing that he's slick off the back in a wrestle-heavy division, not a super wrestle-heavy division, honestly, but it's controlled by a wrestler right now. But I think I look at Islam as just a well-rounded fighter, period. Like, his wrestling, obviously we know how well that is, but he's more of a well-rounded fighter. But you need this going into this division. You need this trying to move it into the top 10, move into the top 5 and stuff like that. You got to be able to deal with any spot of the fight. Stand up, clinching, on the ground, on your back, in the mount, whatever the case may be. You need to know, you need to be ready. And it seems like Ignacio Bahamondes is game in every aspect. He's got a chin, he can strike, and he's got a good ground game. So I see a lot of potential from Ignacio Bahamondes in this division. Tough division. A lot of guys that you can make matches with, right? There's a lot of matchups you can make, but you just gotta be patient. Sit back and wait. And the perfect matchup will pop out for Ignacio Bahamondes. You just gotta give it a second. Let that win marinate. But one thing I want to talk about is Jalen Turner retiring. Like, seriously, I really want to get into it and stress it. Like, dude, do not retire. Like, you're actually a dog. It pisses me off. He's actually a dog. And to have that size, that reach advantage, and to also have his skill set in that division, he should be dominating, right? In a lot of certain ways, he should be dominating. It's the IQ's not there. Maybe there's just a couple changes that need to happen in the fight game for him, right? Sometimes it always isn't just a win. Like, maybe just a different change of coaches, or just going to a different camp, traveling somewhere. I mean, look at Khalil Roundtree, right? A lot of people should take Khalil Roundtree for big example. Win, lose, or draw. You've seen the improvement after he lost to Johnny Walker. That was a bad loss to Johnny Walker. That was a nasty KO to Johnny Walker. He proceeded to go to Thailand, really brush up fully on Muay Thai, became a nasty Muay Thai striker, came back and started dominating in the light heavyweight division. So it can be done. And like I said, Glover Teixeira, 42, ended up winning the belt, right? Anything can happen in this sport. I mean, he's been in it. Jalen Turner's been in it for long enough, right? It's not that you can't come up out of the darkness. To retire at 29, I just think it's too soon. I think he needs to give it a second. All right, so we move on to the co-main event. And I can't lie, the co-main event really just was reminiscent of the first fight. It was very similar. Very similar to the first fight. My prediction was that Rafael Fiziev was going to end up getting KO finish. Knockout finish by head kick specifically. That did not happen. Now, if you pay close attention, he was setting it up though. He was setting up head kicks. He was setting it up. He was getting it prepared, and he was even trying. There was a lot of attempts. But once Justin closed the distance and really just went in with a full boxing type of style, he controlled every aspect. Once that uppercut landed, knocked Fiziev down, got a little bit of ground and pound in there, I think that was the whole tide changing of the fight completely. Justin Gaethje's boxing looked crisp. It looked sharp. He looked strong. He looked powerful, and his chin was there because he was taking some shots from Fiziev. Fiziev landed a couple good 1-2s down the middle. He did land some good kicks. Didn't seem like Justin was throwing a ton of kicks. He was throwing kicks, but it didn't seem like he was throwing a ton of normal Justin Gaethje style kicks. He was really boxing, and he was boxing well. But good win by Justin Gaethje. I honestly, I didn't expect him to be able to bounce, but that was a rough knockout. Let's be.
I'm referring to.
Look back at it, man. That was a tough knockout. It really was. So for me to sit here and say that, like, I'm surprised he took the damage he could take any shot that he could take last night. Yeah, no, I'm definitely shocked because I didn't see Justin Gaethje, a guy who's been in this many wars, right? A lot of people are like, oh, but he's got a chin. Yeah, but everybody's chin deteriorates after getting hit as many times as they get hit, right? And then getting a knockout like that happened with the Max Holloway one, you sit back and it's just like, it's really questionable. It's really questionable. But he went in there. He performed very well. He did great on the striking side. His chin looked good. What's next for Justin Gaethje? That's always a good question because the man is always staying in the top 5. He's always bouncing around the top 5, right? People want to see him against Islam. I don't see that. Someone said Arman. That might not be a bad fight because Dana White said that Arman's not going to end up getting the rematch that he wanted with Islam because he pulled out of that fight. And if he's got to take one more, why not try to take one more against Justin Gaethje? You've seen that Arman does throw with a lot of power. He does crack. I don't think that he's somebody that would want to meet in the middle with Justin Gaethje. I think he would bring much more of a wrestling approach in that fight. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Both men want to get back to that title shot. So you could make that happen. I don't see any other fight really in the division that works for Justin Gaethje unless you make it Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje. I don't know. Dustin Poirier's last fight would be Justin Gaethje 3. I don't know. But it was a good win by Gaethje, and I'm glad to know that Gaethje is still Gaethje, right? The chin is still there, which means we're still gonna get more exciting fights. That's all I can ask for. That's all I can ask for. All right, I had to light the joint for this one. Had to, just had to. To say I'm disappointed with the main event is an understatement. I am so fucking pissed off with that main event. Not just because of Magomed Ankalaev getting the win, right? Yes, I am sour. I wanted the aura for Alex Pereira to continue. And maybe it still does. Comes back, rematch, gets knockout, you never know. Just like that, it's right back. But last night, Alex did not look himself at all. But I want to break down exactly why he did not look himself. You can tell that his training camp had to be revolved all around wrestling. He must have really expected to come into this fight and wrestle a lot. And for people to talk about Magomed Ankalaev being the wrestler that he is, which he's not even, like I said before, he's not a big wrestler. He's more of a kickboxer. And we saw that last night when he was striking very well with Alex. But the wrestling, he shot 12 times. Missed all of them. All of them. Alex stuffed all of them. Joe Rogan is talking. Joe Rogan and DC. They pissed me off so much last night because the nut hugging that they were doing. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous how much. I mean,
I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Yes, man. This is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Like, they're like, oh my God. They were like, you can tell the levels of difference between the wrestling, and it's like, what are you talking about? The man has shot 12 fucking times and missed all of them. What are you talking about? Look, I'm not mad at wrestlers. I'm not one of those people that gets mad that you wrestle. I am annoyed of the stalling positions and that being counted as control and getting the judges to really just jump on that. Now, there was moments where Magomed Ankalaev outstruck Alex. Alex was not throwing any volume because, like I said, he was fighting as if he was just expecting the takedown. He was waiting for the takedown. His only focus was the takedown, right? When every time he was backing up to the cage, he was very hesitant on throwing, probably because he was expecting for Magomed Ankalaev to shoot. Right, and just thinking the whole time, it's like, dude, just throw. You're the best striker in the division. You got dangerous power in your hands. Just throw. Just throw. And he did not throw enough. He gave Magomed Ankalaev way too much respect once he started getting hit a little bit. Obviously, Alex took the first round. Magomed Ankalaev picked up the pressure in the second round. I'm like, okay, shit. I mean, he looks good. He's doing his thing. Same in the third round. That fourth round, you, Magomed Ankalaev. And then the fifth round was just, it was not a stalemate, but again, Alex did not throw enough. There was moments where he was landing and he would just stop. I hate when guys do this, man. I hate when they land a heavy shot. They land whatever it is. If it's a heavy jab, a heavy hook, a heavy kick, whatever the case may be, and they just stop. They don't follow up. They just stop. Alex landed 11 head strikes. 11 head strikes in 5 rounds for Alex Pereira. Why? Because the man was so hesitant on throwing any jabs. Snap to the 5th round. He threw about 3 to 5 jabs maybe. Every single jab that he threw. No, it was probably about 3 jabs. Because now thinking that he landed 11 headshots in general. But he threw about 3 jabs, and all 3 of them landed, and they snapped his head back. They snapped Magomed Ankalaev's head back, which goes to show he should have been sticking the jab in his face the whole night. He should have been doing that body jab that I'm talking about, that body jab that I was breaking down in the Alex Pereira in-depth video. I was talking about that, how much success he has with that body jab. He abandoned it. He completely abandoned it. The leg kicks were working. The leg kicks were working in the first round. All of a sudden in the second, third, abandoned it. Didn't really throw much. Couldn't get anything off in the 4th round. He was just stuck with his back glued to the cage. Just holding on. Just fighting. Stuffing this guy's takedowns. Holding on. And the refs are like, oh my God. Control. Or not the refs. The judges. Control. Get the fuck out of here. Get Sal. Please, somebody get Sal D'Amato off of that judges. Whatever you call it. Just get him out. Get him out. Get the fuck out. 49-46. Look, if that 4th round, Ankalaev took him down and controlled him, landed heavy shots, did all that kind of stuff, even attempted for submissions, shit like that, 49-46 valid. To hold up against the cage and stalling out to the point where Mark Goddard has to separate them, which even though he separates them, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you separate him too late. Alex is already gassed out from having to just defend that the entire time. For 3 minutes straight, just trying to defend this guy from doing anything. And it's just a stall out position for a guy to say that he controlled the fight. In my opinion, it's the worst way to win a championship. If Magomed Ankalaev would have continued what he did in the second round all throughout the fight, I wouldn't be here bitching. I wouldn't be here mad at all. Right? But it's just the way I'm more pissed and disappointed with the way that Alex performed, because we know as fight fans, we have seen Alex. He does not fight the way he was fighting last night. No matter what you want to say, no matter you can give Magomed Ankalaev the props, because I'm not saying that he didn't fight well. I'm more just pissed with that 4th round. He fought well. So I'm not saying that he didn't. But I am pissed with the way Alex fought, because we know that he could fight way better than that. To me, Alex Pereira can beat Magomed Ankalaev and should beat Magomed Ankalaev. You saw he stuffed 12 takedowns. There's going to be moments where you lose in a stand-up. There was moments where he got caught by Khalil Roundtree and stuff like that. He just did not throw the amount that he needed to throw to win that fight last night. So it was valid for him to lose the decision. He definitely lost that fight. I don't think it was a robbery. People are saying robbery. It wasn't no robbery. I can understand other people pissed off with the 49-46 and just be pissed off in general that Sal D'Amato is still up there. But it definitely wasn't no robbery. Alex lost that fight. Alex gave that fight away in a lot of ways. But to hype Magomed Ankalaev up, I'm not going to. It did not impress me. Right? Remember, if you snap all the way back to when Islam and Charles were fighting, right? Obviously, you know Charles. I'm a huge fan of Charles Oliveira. He's one of my #1 favorite fighters, like probably ever. And I was not Team Islam Makhachev at all. At all. I hated him. I thought he was overrated. He fought nobody to get this title shot. He ended up going in there and he made it look easy against Charles Oliveira. In 2 rounds. He made it look easy in 2 rounds against Charles Oliveira, who was on a dope win streak, getting finish after finish after finish after finish. And Islam went in there and made it look easy. Ever since then, I ain't got shit to say. I ain't got nothing to say. Because Islam has performed in every single fight since then. Even at the moments when he was down, he has shown the dog in him, right? And I'm only bringing up Islam because everybody compares the Dagestanis to being the people that are ruining the sport. And ones that fight in ways like Magomed did in that 4th round, that's what's ruining the sport. Not wrestling. Not the Dagestan wrestling. Not the style of wrestling. It's doing shit like that to know that you can get the judges to give you the dub. Oh, I'm fighting a kickboxer. I'm going to hold him up against the cage. He doesn't have a wrestling background. I'm going to hold him up against the cage. I can't get him down. I'm just going to hold him up against the cage. Mario Batista versus Jose. Merab Dvalishvili versus Jose. To me, just should not be scored as control in any way. I feel like if this was Pride, they had some sort of... Was it a red card for stalling? I mean, bring that back. Bring that back. Because there was times where Magomed shot for the takedown in a position, failed, and then was just holding a spot. Just holding the spot. Just holding the spot. Not changing anything. Not changing the hand. Not doing anything. Just holding the spot. Did it again a little bit in the 5th, but not a ton. But just knowing that you can do that and get a win off of it, right? And that's not the reason he won. He outstruck and outlanded Alex. So it's not the reason he won. But that didn't, that ruined the 4th round. Completely ruined the 4th round. So just shit like that's annoying. Shit like that's annoying. So I'm not sold on Ankalaev yet. I know he's good. He's talented. But I'm not fully fledged sold on him. Right? We'll see what happens. I mean, he's already talking about that Yuri Petroska. Yuri Petroska said he wants to go at it. And he said Yuri Petroska's a fraud and doesn't deserve it. And it's like, okay, all right. Well, maybe we see right there. We already see your first sign of weakness and your first person you look at as a threat. So it's interesting. I just feel like it's going to bring the light heavyweight division some boredom now. So be what it be. But that is it for this episode. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Your boy Bando's out. Peace.